Back from 26 points down to beat the Rockets Saturday, including 45 points from Paul George. But the real story was Russell Westbrook. Russ made history with his 9th straight triple-double, tying Wilt for the all-time NBA record. Russ has been criticized for shooting a near-career low 41% from the field, but he is still on pace to average a triple-double for the 3rd straight year. Once again, Jason McIntyre joining us for another round. But we are going to start this one with you, Chris. He's celebrating already.
Celebrating what?
Right.
Feels good to be
surviving.
right. Feels good to be right.
Swaying and surviving.
Let's start with you. Do you think that Russell's getting enough credit for this triple-double streak?
I don't think he is. I do not think he is. Him averaging a triple-double the last 3 years is the greatest statistical feat in modern NBA history. I would even say it's probably the most impressive statistical feat since Wilt Chamberlain averaged 45 points and 24 rebounds in 1963 and averaged 50 and 26 the year before. Like, what Russell Westbrook is doing is phenomenal. Nobody, not a player, not Hubie Brown, Jerry West, some of the greatest minds, nobody thought it was possible in today's NBA for a guy to average a triple-double for an entire season. No, and all the great players that have been stat stuffers, LeBron, Magic Johnson, Jason Kidd, none of them have done it. And if it was so easy, why isn't anybody doing it now other than Russell Westbrook? When we usually look at great statistical feats nowadays, you always hear one of two terms. So-and-so did this. It's the first time since the merger of the ABA and NBA in 1976, or post-merger. That's because Wilt Chamberlain and Oscar Robertson put up numbers that are cartoonish by today's standards. Like, there's no way anybody's touching half of Wilt Chamberlain's records. And here comes Russell Westbrook doing it. I mean, tied him now with the 9 straight triple-doubles, averaging that for 3 straight seasons. Russell Westbrook, he's not the best player in the world. He's certainly not this year. The best player on his team has been Paul George, and he wasn't the best player for most of his career because Kevin Durant was there. But this dude is an iconic figure, and years from now, people are going to be looking back at that Russell Westbrook, man. He averaged a triple-double 3, 4 straight seasons, whatever it ends up being, and he's going to be an icon. He's not getting enough credit.
Yeah, Chris, that was well said. I disagree with a lot of it, but I guess I'll start here. Russell Westbrook deserves more credit, but not for the triple-doubles, but, Chris, for taking a backseat to Paul George and knowing I'm not the best player on this team. The self-awareness from Russell Westbrook this season.
I'm not sure he knows that.
No, he knows it.
No, 21, 11, and 11.
Yeah, but he's taking fewer shots.
Right, he's sharing the ball.
And I think self-awareness, he deserves credit. I've beat up Russell Westbrook on the shows here at FS1 a lot. He's blocked me on social media, whatever. I got nothing against the guy. What I'm saying is...
me and Westbrook have something in common.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. So I do like how Westbrook is taking a backseat to Paul George, who's the best player on that team. The triple-double streak...
You call it a backseat, though. Like it's...
He's the number 2. Russell Westbrook is the Robin to Paul George's Batman, okay? Russell Westbrook, we know he's a stat patter. I get it. But don't triple-doubles feel a little archaic? I mean,
no, because who else is averaging?
Well, here's the thing. The pace has picked up in the league. The usage rate through the roof. More shots. I mean, nobody wants to just try to get every rebound. Russell Westbrook's like, let me make this my thing. He's become Mr. Triple-Double. I got no problem with that. That's great. But is it that impressive? What's more impressive, Chris, is the fact that they're probably a better team with him shooting less and deferring to Paul George. They're probably going to win a round in the playoffs this year because he's taken a back seat. He averaged a triple-double the last 2 years. They didn't get out of the first round. This year, with Paul George as the Batman, they're going to get out of the first round.
For me, I think it's phenomenal what he's doing, and he's not getting enough credit. And when you look at it, you talk about taking the back seat, that's credit right there. The fact that he has enough self-awareness to take that back seat and focus on how can I make sure this team is thriving and we're successful as a whole, what can I do? It's this. This is what he can do. It's not put up all the shots. It's, okay, Paul George, I got a guy who can score, who is getting it done offensively. I can scale back, but I can pick it up in other areas that we need someone to pick it up in, and I'm that guy. And that's why I like what Russell Westbrook is doing, because everyone wants to talk about how selfish he is at times. This is unselfish. When you're willing to get rebounds and assists and get everybody involved, how is that selfish? Yeah, he was putting up a lot of shots, but now he isn't. I love what Russell Westbrook doing, and I think we need to focus more on his selflessness and making sure everybody else is involved. And I'm doing what I finally should have been doing with KD. Waited a little late for that.
A little late.
But he's getting it done with Paul George. I love it.
I agree with you guys. It is a feat, but I think the reason that people aren't giving him as much credit or making a big deal about it is the old adage. It's like, I love ice cream, and then as soon as I start working at the ice cream factory, I don't eat it as much, or I don't like it as much. And in this case, when he first got the first triple-double, right, everybody was like, oh my God, this hadn't happened in 50 years, and it was a celebration. The next year, if you remember, he gets the triple-double. No one knew it until the last 8 games. It kind of like snuck up on people. Then they said, well, if he gets this many rebounds and whatever, he'll average a triple-double. So that kind of came out of nowhere. And now this year, people have come to expect it almost. This is what he does. This is how he plays now. So it's not as, and it takes nothing away from what he's accomplished, but I think that's why people aren't that crazed over it or give him as much credit for doing it.
But think about what you're saying. He has made the triple-double ho-hum.
No, that's what I'm saying.
He's made the triple-double. And when LeBron was just playing, when they played Philadelphia.
No doubt.
And the announcers are talking about he's averaged a triple-double since he's been back. That's 2 games. Yeah. I mean, and this dude is doing it for 3 straight years. And I get, again, I'm not saying he's the best player in the league or anything like that, but what he's doing is phenomenal.
So, Chris, I get it, and I give all that. He plays harder than anybody in the league.
He doesn't cheat you, and I love that.
Well, you know where he cheats you? When he's shooting the basketball. He's having his worst shooting year, I believe, since his rookie year, 41% from the field. You know he's shooting 24% on threes? 24%. Lonzo's better than that, okay? This guy knows where his bread is buttered. I can play hard and get rebounds and passes. He's just not a shooter.
He's trying to win, Jason.
I was just about to say,
let me get rebounds.
Where are they at?
Triple-double.
And that was the best part about his triple-double.
Third, almost second in the West.
His first year that he did it, they had a great record when he got triple-double, so it wasn't like he's just static.
They lost in the first round of the playoffs.
But I'm just saying, but they were
the first year he didn't have much. It was when KD left that he even averaged a triple-double because he needed to do more. And as Rob said, over these 3 years when he gets a triple-double,
they win.
The record is phenomenal.
And then, remember, last year he was still battling with Paul George in that first-round series against the Jazz. I believe Russ took somewhere around 40 shots in one of the final games of the series. And then finally in the offseason he realized, I'm not a good shooter. I can't shoot the basketball, okay? Let me defer to Paul George. So let's just not give him all the credit for the triple-doubles, but also the self-awareness, as we talked about.
He's playing a better floor game.
I'm not a good shooter. Let's go to Paul George.
He's playing a better floor game. There's no doubt about it. I mean, he's looking to pass, not just to Paul George.
Because he can't shoot.
To all this. Look. I mean, Jason Kidd couldn't shoot till the end of his career.
And he was a triple-double machine.
And he went to the Hall of Fame.
Right. I mean,
Russ is going to the Hall of Fame.
Nobody's saying Russ is a great shooter. And look, 41%. His career average is like 43%. Yeah. I mean, it's not like he's falling from 48% to 41%. Allen Iverson shot 41% and less a lot of years. Like, there are guys that, like you said, they're not great shooters. A lot of guys have shot this percentage.
Yeah. You lost again.
No, how is that a loss? I'm just saying, the triple-doubles are great, Chris. They're wonderful. They look good. Nobody's done it in the modern era. Whoop-de-damn-do. All we care about is postseason.
Whenever you do something that no one in the history
your guy in Detroit, your guy in Detroit, Matthew Stafford's throwing for 5,000 yards. Woo! Everybody
but they don't
loves that.
win, though. That's the difference.
They're winning because
Westbrook is winning.
They're not winning because of the triple doubles. They're winning because of Paul George, who's an MVP candidate.
Triple doubles is great.
It was great the first year.
It is this year too.
It's all right, but Paul George is an MVP candidate.
No, George is playing great.
He's a top 5. They're winning because of Paul George. Admit it and give it to me now.
They're winning because of both of them, plus Steven Adams, Jeremy Grant. They've all picked up their games. And that's a credit to Westbrook, too.
It is really all a credit to Westbrook because even when he was doing this and they weren't winning when it counted, the #1 narrative was Russell Westbrook, he has to take less shots. He has to, and he's finally doing it.
At that point, I agree. I'm giving him credit. Yeah, listen, I'm a Russell Westbrook
No, you're
fan.
giving him the credit because he can't shoot.
Right.
You keep throwing that out.
I mean, I want to be balanced. I'm fair and balanced here on the show.
You're anti-Russell Westbrook.
Right.
I don't. He's a nice player.
Who are you, Colin Cowherd now?
No. Come on. I mean, he's no Steph Curry, but Russell Westbrook is a great basketball player.
He's averaging
so
a triple.
you said it.
Yeah.
So you admitted you.
I'd rather have
you got
Kevin Durant,
on this
no,
one.
I did not.
Jason, thank you.
Sorry.
Thanks for coming on, taking
you.
the abuse for a little bit.
I love it. Bring it on. I like these odds, Jamie. We'll do this again soon, gentlemen.
Coming up, are the Lakers going to miss the playoffs after suffering